Okay, welcome to Dad Jitsu. I'm Henry.
I'm Steve.
And today we're going to be talking about being a dad, training kids, and specifically competition and everything to do with kids competing, whether they should compete, and all that kind of good stuff, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's relevant because last weekend we took our junior squad out for the first time as a team. We've had juniors competing, your Ben's competed.
Yeah.
We've had a few kind of going out. I think once we had like 4 kids, so technically that was our first junior outing. But this time we kind of took 9 kids out to a local Neon Open in Southampton. It was a great day, fairly well run competition, not too busy. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for like a first competition. If you're a black belt, you get to compete for free. I was going to do it, didn't end up doing it in the end, but that's fine. It worked out for the best really in the end because of coaching the kids and stuff. But yeah, it was great to get them out and get them competing. And a lot of them, it was their first ever competition. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder really.
I think they all did really well as well, didn't they? Some of which the kids it was their first time got gold, right?
Yes, technically. I mean, he did amazing, but it was 2 of the kids from our team fighting each other. So
right, okay. I wasn't able to make it that time. Neither was my Ben, but yeah, it sounded like a good outing all in all, really.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like the way we approach competition for the juniors, like it's not something we've done a lot of. So a few people have done competitions, and usually, like your Ben has Brian, who helps us coach the kids team. His son's done a few competitions, and then 1 or 2 of the older ones have been doing competitions sort of fairly regularly. But a lot of them never even like thought about it before we mentioned it. So I wanted to get them out competing because it's a fun thing to do. It's not something where I'm like every kid has to compete to get graded or anything like that really. But I think it's a good way of kind of testing your jiu-jitsu, and you know, we sort of sell it to the kids like this is training. It's just we're doing jiu-jitsu in a different environment. Yeah. We're going to a busy sports hall with loud noises and people you've never, you know, rolled against before, and it's testing your jiu-jitsu in a different environment. Totally. You know, and it's not about winning or losing. It's just about going and using that to get better at jiu-jitsu. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's you know, like we said before, there's lots of little life lessons woven into that, isn't there? Learning, like we said just earlier, you know, learning how to lose, you know, learning to cope with that and building that mental resilience, which is kind of similar to when you're on the mats and, you know, the kids are quite young. My Ben certainly did this. When you see your friends getting promoted and you're not getting promoted, it can be hard to deal with as a kid. It comes from the same place, doesn't it? Having your competitions and losing someone, thinking, oh, well, you know, I've probably learnt more from that than I did from winning. You know, especially if you just turn up and you steamroller someone, you learn more from that than you do. Sorry, you learn more from losing than you do just beating someone really quickly, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a cliche. If you're like a jiu-jitsu adult, you're going to be like, oh, it's so cliche.
Yeah, it is, but it's true.
You don't ever lose. You only learn.
Yeah.
Okay, but for the kids, that is actually an important lesson.
Massively.
And it does make a difference to their development and the way that they kind of conduct themselves on the mats. Yeah. And, you know, you see them going from like fighting for their life in sparring rounds, like trapped underneath side control, you know, going mad, to actually just a bit more doing jiu-jitsu, like trying to do the techniques, trying to work on their escapes, you know, because they can see the bigger picture about how, you know, technical development is the most important aspect. It doesn't matter if your coach is watching and you know, you're losing, that doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like the coach isn't thinking, why is he losing? Oh, I'm feeling disappointed. They're thinking, you know, oh, right, we're working your escapes, let's start your frames. And it's more about that technical process than the outcome of winning or losing, whatever it is.
Like we were talking to Jack McGee from Mad Hatters earlier.
Yeah.
He was saying the same thing. You know, there's a lot more as a coach you can use for their progression if they lose, in a way, or if they, you know, than if they just turn up and just dominate them. There's so much more you can take from that as an individual, isn't there?
Definitely. There's one of our kids, really, really great little fighter. Like he's a very good kickboxer, and he's got good natural movement, and he will be very good at jiu-jitsu. He's not like the most technical, but he just does things right. He'll just get the right grips and move in the right way, probably because he's done kickboxing for a long time, so he's just got that like natural movement. And he actually went and I thought he'll probably win a gold. Like he's very good. And in the end, he ended up losing his match because the kid was just really good. Like the kid, he went again, like chained together like 3 submissions and like subbed him with an armbar, and I was like, fair enough. Like the kid was good.
There's some good kids out there.
Yeah, there are some amazing kids, and you know that was a nice little lesson for him. That like even if you turn up on the day and you're thinking like, I'm going to win. I don't know whether he was thinking he was going to win, but like if you go in super confident, there's always someone better, unfortunately. And if you meet that person, shit happens. Maybe they're not even better, but they just catch a good sub, whatever. But I think for him, for his technical development, it seems to have like he's been attending more jiu-jitsu classes now. Like I've noticed, like when there's a choice between kickboxing or jiu-jitsu, he's coming to the jiu-jitsu class, and I think just having the competition sort of lit a bit of a fire, and you could see he wanted to do well, and so he was training more, and since then he's carried on. And I haven't spoken to him about it, but I think it's kind of just given him a little like, oh yeah, I want to be good at this, like, and that kid beat me, and next time I want to go, I want to win, and you know I need to get better, and that's nice to see, you know.
It is, and he strikes me as a kid who would naturally have that. There's no ego with him, is there?
Not so much. No,
and I think there's he strikes me as the kind of kid that would take that on board. Whereas not every adult does that, right?
No.
And I think your ego is a lot more malleable when you're younger. If you can get a kid to build that resilience of being able to be happy is the wrong word, but just kind of, you know, okay with the fact that you've lost a fight.
I can't concentrate because Nova's just brought in her favourite toy, fucking gingerbread man. Literally, we bought it for her from the shop the other day, and she would not like let it go all night. She's just like puts it in front of me, and it's just there. Like for 10 minutes, just staring at me like he's gonna throw it. If I move, she's like, I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Love it.
I'm sorry, no, but I love it. But no, let's take it
Not
away.
right now.
Not now. Come on, out.
Oh, that was nearly a good shot.
Go. Out. Go on. Take it with you. Piss off.
She's still staring at you.
I learned all of my dog parenting from parenting the children. Good communication. Just firm, clear communication. Piss off. Okay, the hand signal as well helps the kids.
They do say kids are a good precursor for dogs. Right?
They do. That's basically it. Have a child. Yeah. We had 3, and then we thought, right, we're ready for a dog now.
Yeah. Stage 2 is upon us.
Yeah, I mean, the oldest one is basically a dog anyway. Yeah. When I get home, he runs to the door. Literally, since he's been able to walk every day, run to the door, pretty much, like not far off to be fair. Like, and then she'll like run in behind him, and they're both there like, hey, Dad.
What are you doing?
All right, and
I didn't think you were coming back.
Like, running around my legs. I'm just like, you are a dog.
Yeah,
like
funny.
You literally are a dog. It's
just
so
funny.
weird.
That's funny.
Anyway, yeah, where were we? Jiu-jitsu competition.
Training your dogs for jiu-jitsu. That's
that's it. I mean, that could be a good niche to be fair.
Dog-jitsu.
Dog-jitsu.
Yeah, it could be stage 2 of the podcast.
Dog and gi.
No one's doing it.
Yeah, no one's doing it. Got to find your niche. But yeah, he did really well. It was good to see him have a little fire. You said something a minute ago about like the kids' like ego, and I think before you start like. Again, it's another cliche in jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Like, people come in, probably what happens more with, like, chaps, like, the particularly ego-driven alpha guys. Some of them will last. They'll be humbled, and they'll think, oh, my God, I need to get good at this. Like,
Gym bros.
Then they're obsessed.
Yeah.
Others go the other way. They get smashed, and it doesn't compute. And they just can't deal with it, and you never see them again.
Yeah.
And it's weird, you see the same thing happening with the kids, which you wouldn't imagine would happen. But it's even worse with the kids. Like, their ego is so, like, fragile. Like, some of them, like, they love it, and that's fine. Other ones just, they can't compute it.
Can't cope with it.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
Especially the little ones.
Definitely, yeah. And it can be the smallest little loss in a round, or they just get mounted, or they want to do a thing and they don't get to do it, and it can just, the flag can go up and then that's it. They just had enough.
So raw as well, like the emotion comes out, like crying,
visceral.
Or arguments on the mats and things like that, and it's tricky to manage. But again, I always say, like, and again, it's a cliche. We're just ticking off all the cliches really, but jiu-jitsu is like a sort of small little microcosm of like life, isn't it? So many life lessons in there.
Definitely.
And that's why I think one of the reasons it's so great for kids is because they're just learning all these little lessons about like, you know, how to deal with disappointment, how to deal with loss, how to have like a sort of a growth mindset and look at things and think, all right, I'm just going to use this to get better. You know, there's a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Like
this feels
you know,
shit right now, but I know, and I guess experience helps as well, doesn't it? But I think those first few times where they don't have that experience of this is going to feel better. You're going to look at this in a better way in 3 months' time when you are a bit better.
Yeah, exactly that. And if you can just keep them going, they learn those, and then you see them like almost teaching the other kids these things, like sort of talking to them about it, and that's
cool.
like, that's great.
That's the ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really great. But yeah, it's what were the other talking points?
So the other talking points.
The dog is starting to bark now.
She's kicking the shit out of that gingerbread man.
She really is. I haven't seen her humping it yet.
Nah, give it time.
Probably haven't. Christmas.
Yeah. So I mean, number one is, should kids compete? You know, I think that is a big question, because that depends on the kid, doesn't it? And I guess you know, as a parent, you know your own kid better than anybody. But if you haven't put your kid in that competition environment, you're not going to know either until you and the kid give it a try. You know,
it's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, it is a difficult one. I guess you, like you say, you know your child, and you might have experienced other sporting experiences, like with your child, and it hasn't gone well for whatever reason. You think, right, we're at jiu-jitsu, I don't want them to compete. And you think, okay, that's fine. You know, you've got to make that decision as a parent, really, haven't you? Even if your child's like, I really want to do it, you have to decide based on previous experience of whatever it is that is informing your decision, and think yay or nay. Like, but if someone, let's say someone's not really done much, like they're young and they've not done much competitive sport, this might be their first or second or third sort of experience of different sports that they're trying out. I don't think there's like any harm in giving it a go. Essentially, like going out there and giving it a go. It's the same thing for like the adults. It's, you know, some people wait for so long, and you think you'd be better off like training for like a year, 6 months, get to like, you're still rubbish, but get to a standard where at least you understand what's going on.
Yeah, but then
going out there and just giving it a go. You're probably going to lose, but who cares? Like we say, it's training. It's not about the outcome.
Yeah.
It's about going out there and experiencing it. And the more you do that, the wins will come eventually, you know, but it's just about getting better and learning about your jiu-jitsu and where you need to improve, and competition will teach you that. It will show that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got adult friends who at white belt, and they're like, oh no, I'm not going to compete, I'm going to wait till blue belt. I'm like, why? Just jump in. Like, you're going to be competing against other white belts. You're not necessarily going to get smashed. There's a good chance you will. Yeah. I know I did a lot of white belt. So what? You know, just jump in and do it. You know, I think it's, depending on the individual, if the idea of competition as an adult certainly really freaks you out, then fine. But there's always going to be, adult or child, that element of taking the plunge, right? And I think if that's all there is there, and you can negate that, then jump in and do it, and you'll probably come out of it, even if you've lost, with like a cool, that wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, as the parent and the child.
Exactly that. Like you say, some people are like, they really like, not anti it, but like they really don't want to do it because I'll just be so nervous. Like, I can't deal with it. But you don't know actually how you're going to be on the day. You might be nervous in the lead up to it, and that is something. So you may just say, "Oh, I know what I'm like when I have job interviews for a week up to it. I'm just shitting myself, and then I had whatever. But like, I just don't want. This is fun. This is a hobby. I don't want that stress in my life. Fine, okay, you make that decision. You know, but I would say like, you don't know how you're going to be on the day. Like, you might be nervous leading up to it, but then on the day you might actually have a really great time. And in the second competition, you're not nervous leading up to it because you've had that experience of having a great time. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I'm actually looking forward to this one. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know if you know, I'm kind of a big deal, but I was actually on Polaris once. Basically won the match, but then just had a little nap 2 seconds before the end. So it goes down as a loss, but I think we all know I actually won. Maybe
you were just tired. You know,
I thought the buzzer had already gone. I thought I'm just going to chill out for 2 seconds, just have a little nap, and then I'll get my hand raised and it's fine. But whatever. Anyway,
we lived and we learned, man.
You live and you learn. We'll get a rematch. I'm coming for you. I was nervous, excited leading up to that, but on the day I wasn't actually that nervous. And when I actually was up on the stage, I was buzzing. Yeah. Like, there was no nerves. Like, I was like really enjoying the experience. And that's kind of the first time that's happened in a competition. Usually I'm quite nervous.
Yeah.
You know, ADCC actually, the English Open one, I did quite enjoy that one. Like, so I think the more experience I've had, like competing, like the better it's got as you go along. And that's what I kind of try and say to the kids and adults as well.
Yeah.
Is like, just get in there, get those first ones out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, because you're learning how to not be nervous. You're learning how to perform at your best. And to do that, you need to, a little bit of nerves can be useful, but you need to be in a similar mindset to how you train. You know, that's the reality, isn't it? Like, that's how you perform at your best. But everyone's going to be a bit different. But
you are right. A certain level of almost anxiety enables you to perform at your best. Like, I'm a musician, and I've been, you know, countless gigs over the years, and I know that I don't really get nerves before a gig, but I'm just, I'm going to quote 300 here. It's just a heightened sense of things.
Nice quote.
It's not fear that grips him.
Who was it though? Was it the main guy who quoted that?
I think it was. No, it was the guy who got his eye taken out, the one telling the story towards the end.
Oh, okay,
talking about how they bred them.
Not
basically.
Gerard Butler?
No, it wasn't
Is that
him.
the main
No,
guy?
that's the main guy. Yeah.
Where's he gone now?
He's done every single like box tick I'm a hero, save the world movie, and then just ridden off into the sunset.
He saved the world.
He's basically saved the world, and
Now he's living in an island somewhere.
yeah. What was I saying?
Yeah, a bit of anxiety actually can help you perform.
It
It's
is.
there for
I
a
think
reason.
it's knowing that is just a mode. It's just a mode you're in. I get that with gigs. Just before we're about to go on, I get like okay, here we go, and it's the walk to the stage or the performance area. It's just a mode. It doesn't necessarily feel 100% good that bit before, but I know it's just the anticipation of what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And again, there's a life lesson going back to jiu-jitsu competition for kids and adults. If you can get used to that mode, then you can use it to your advantage. To know that it's just, and you can use that anxiety to get whatever position you want, or get whatever kind of, you know, get yourself into whatever place you want to be when you're actually competing, because your energy's up, but you're not letting it sort of get on top of you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's that is a life lesson.
It's a bit of a superpower, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But if you let that get too high, it can overtake you, and you can second guess everything you're about to do and start, oh God, I'm just shit. He looks really good. He's moving really well. He's bigger than me, etc., etc. And then you just get yourself at it. So there's a sweet spot, I believe.
I always walk into a competition and, you know, you're looking at all the people weighing in, and there's always like, you know, someone who in reality is probably like 120 kilos, and he's got massive cauliflower ears, and he's like 6'4", and he's probably, you know, oh, who cares what belt he is, but he looks terrifying, and you're like, well, that guy's in my division, isn't he? He's my first match.
That's my guy.
You know, that's my guy. And then you go and weigh and you feel, oh, fucking, I'm going to lose. You know, that guy's a fucking machine, you know? And then you get to your bracket and you look around and you think, who are all these old dudes? And you're like, oh, these are the guys I'm going
so
against.
funny,
They're just like me, this is fine. And that guy was actually like a white belt. You'd probably beat him anyway. But he's in like the ultra heavy division, like adult, like pacing around.
And he's like 25.
You're like, I'm glad of that. I'm so, fight that guy ever. I'm always going to be out of his division. And I can just be like, so, you know, even if he comes to Roy, sorry, mate.
Yeah. Come on. I need to come to you.
That's it.
Yeah. Come on. Get in line. I look out for the grey hair at competitions.
Yeah.
I'm Masters 3 now. You know, and I look out for the grey. The grey hair, or the balding is always a bit of a that's a hard one to tell, because a lot of my brother went bald at 18, so it's like you can't really tell. But the grey hair's always like, okay, there's a good chance he's in my division, and they're often not very big. Which is, you don't get the monsters when you're 45.
Not super muscly, like looking like a bit tired, and
haggard,
bit weathered.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
That's the one. Bit tired, checking out a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he's like responding to the wife on a text, or like maybe he's got one of his kids with him and he's just, oh
my God, this kid will not shut the fuck up. Yeah.
All right, you can have a snack.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, here, take it all, just fuck off. Yeah. But meanwhile, you're watching the adult division and they're smashing into the table and do you know what I mean? Throwing it like life depends on it.
Like. Yeah. I'm going to get fucking done. And then you come out, you slap hands with the guy, he sits down, and you're like, oh, thank God.
I'm not going to die today. Brilliant. It's a bonus.
Yes, for Masters Jiu-Jitsu. It's so much better.
It really is.
So much more relaxed. Yeah. What else we got on the list then?
So, the list. So, that's point one.
I don't know if we even covered that, but...
No, we
had the dog, and then we got distracted by moaning about the kids.
It went off on a fairly wild tangent or two, didn't we? How to frame the idea of why we compete to kids.
Yeah, it's selling it to them. We kind of covered it already, but it's kind of selling it to them as a training experience, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, and I say selling it to them. You know, I'm not there like trying to convince all the kids to compete. For me, I'm quite standoffish. Like I printed out a little thing with like 3 competitions that I'd like some of the kids to do. If they want to do them, they do. But I'm not going to be going like, oh look, what, you know, Jimmy, what do you think about competing? Like, oh no, I'm not a salesman challenging his like objections and like, look, get your mum on the phone. Let's
Yeah.
you know, if they don't want to compete, they don't have to compete.
Yeah.
I'm very aware that kids training, this is an after school club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's an activity. If 50% of them, which would be amazing, can train into adulthood, I'm like buzzing. So I know that some of them, you're never going to see them again after a year, whatever. Like, so they don't have to compete. You know, some of them I would love to compete, but they never will. And that's fine. Like, that's absolutely fine. You know, one of the things we spoke about after this sort of competition, because we changed the training for like 3 weeks out, and for like a week or 2, we didn't learn any technique. We were just doing live drills and situational stuff, which is, they're still learning, like, but we're just not teaching them, right, here's an arm bar, here's a whatever. Like we were doing like scrambling from a double leg and all these sort of more like skills that are going to really translate into performing well on the day.
Yeah.
So they're learning a lot of stuff, but it's just slightly more geared towards performing in a competition. But the way I sold it to people who aren't competing was like, look, you guys are here, like, and you guys need to be really good because it's going to help your people, your training partners who are competing, because we're a team, you know, for them to get better. The better rounds they get, the harder training they get, you know, the more you guys really help them, the better they're going to be on the day. And we're here as a team. Yeah. So even if you aren't competing, your role is super important. Yeah. Because if you're not here, then, you know, if there's 2 people in a class, one's competing and one isn't, if that person who isn't goes, oh, I don't need to be there, the other guy can't train. So, you know, and I think they all sort of got quite a buzz out of that, the people that weren't competing. It's like, yeah, like, right, we need to train hard because we're helping everyone. And, you know, it's sort of that, I think even outside of the day was a real good bonding experience, but like just the lead up to it, I think everyone sort of bonded quite well as a team. That was important for me, I think.
It's another one of those life lessons. It ain't always about you. You know, it's a team sport, but it's not a team sport like football or rugby where you're all performing at the same time. It's a team sport, but when you step up, it's just you. But the build up to that, the months before that, you're a team. Yeah. And that carries all the way through to adulthood, right? Definitely. One of the things I was going to say, when my son, Ben, the first couple of times he competed, he was nervous going into it. I mean, the first time he fought, do you remember there was a kid, he had like 100 wins or something? This kid was just like focused, like he sat cross-legged watching all the matches like this before he went on. Like,
I think he was actually levitating whilst
he was. Yeah, moving shit with his mind. And, crazy.
He was a badass.
He was a badass, yeah. But you know, I was really proud of him because Ben found this out. He found the magnitude of that out just before he stepped on to do the competition, but he still stepped up and did it. And I just said to Ben, he's got a good grip, so I was like, just rag him about a little bit. I didn't say this to him. I was like, but he's probably going to beat you with jiu-jitsu. But just try and be a bother for him and get that first comp out of the way.
Mondo.
Use
your inner Mondo powers.
Genetically, he's got it.
Steve's actually created a martial art called Mondo, which is primarily, if not completely driven by just super Mong strength.
Yeah.
Minus the technique, let's just smash out of everything that I can. Speed and power.
I spent the whole of white belt just using nothing but Mondo.
Served you very well. It still serves you well at times.
It comes up every now and again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So he went into the comp like that, and he did. He dragged him about a bit, but what was interesting, he came off the mat, and he said to me afterwards on the way home that he loved the fact that when he was on the mat and when he came off the mat, everyone was like saying his name and like sort of bigging him up and sort of saying, "Oh, well done, Ben," and he loved all the camaraderie of the team when you're competing, even if you don't win. The whole team's on your side, you know, and that kind of buzz you get from your tribe, sort of shouting your name and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot to that.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely got that as an adult too.
Yeah. Hearing people support, hearing like you recognise the voices and people are, you know, saying well done or cheering for you. It's good, isn't it? It's really feeling. Sort of makes you feel good. Makes definitely. You feel part of the team.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's even better when you win, but it doesn't, you know, it's still there when you lose. That kind of like everyone's sort of putting their hand on your back. It's like I'm part of a thing bigger than myself. That's what's good about it.
Yeah, but the thing is with the winning and losing, if you take out what people are actually saying, you get the same response from someone.
Yeah.
If you win, they go like, "Oh, well done, mate.
Yeah,
Good
right.
laugh, we'll win." If you lose, they go, "Never mind, mate."
Yeah, totally.
And that is literally the same thing. And for their experience is, I'm going to spend 2 seconds either congratulating or commiserating this person, and now I'm back to thinking about squirrels and monkeys and who would win in a fight. Yeah, like, but you're like, everyone, you know, you're just in your head about it. Oh, I made this mistake, mate. Oh, you know, oh, next time. What have I done there? You know, no one else gives a fuck.
No.
And it's like explaining that to a child in like a nice, caring way that like no one cares about you.
Yeah.
I mean, not like that.
How do you work that
Your
way?
mum and your dad care. I don't care. No, I mean, I do care. But no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Not fuck, but like.
There's a lot of dead ends there, isn't there? What am I trying to say? Life doesn't mean anything, okay?
You're meaningless.
Yeah, you're going to die alone one day.
Yeah, that's it. In 2 generations, no one will remember your name.
Yeah. None of this matters. You're just decaying every day.
Yeah, your school.
Yeah.
No one cares. Like, no one will care about your GCSEs. It doesn't matter, basically. There's no point. Even if you go to school or don't, there's no point.
None of this means anything.
Yeah. It's tricky teaching children that.
Just bribing them.
Yeah. If anyone's got any advice about how we can deliver that to our children, but in a less, like, traumatic way, please send that in.
I'm not sure it
because
exists.
I feel like I'm really damaging not only my children but the other children around me with my advice. So any advice would be great.
It'd be handy.
Yeah. I can't even remember what we're talking about.
So I think we covered that.
Okay, yeah, big tick in that box.
Oh, this is a good one. Coaching kids from the sidelines.
Oh.
There's two parts to this.
Go on.
So part one is as a coach, coaching kids from the sidelines. Obviously, you've got a lot more experience than I in this, so I'll let you lead on this one.
Yeah, it's for me, like I do a different approach depending on their age. Like when I actually was with 2 of our kids, they were fighting each other, and that was their only match they had, and they matched twice, gi and no gi, and I was coaching both of them.
That's
on one of the matches I was coaching, but I was like the only one there. The match before, me and Brian picked one each, or they picked Mehdi picked Brian. I don't know. Anyway, and on the second match, it was just me, so I'm like, oh.
Did you sound like you were at auction?
Yeah, so I'm like, go on, yeah, you can escape from that. Oh, right, don't let her escape. Try lots of cards. Like, coaching both of them, it was like crazy. But it was just generally saying well done and giving them really basic advice. Get on top, try and get around his legs, that kind of thing. But just really being like, oh, well done. Oh, that was good. Oh, never mind. Like, keep going. You're doing really well. That stuff.
It's handy that they were both young.
Yeah, I mean, they're both 5.
Yeah, and it was both for them their first time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if they were both like sort of more seasoned teens, that might have been a tricky, if you were on your own.
Oh, that would be, yeah. I mean, I don't know what I'd do there.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Maybe I just wouldn't coach.
Just let them do
If
it.
it was 2 teammates who were teenagers, I'd probably be like, look, you guys just scrap it out.
Do your thing.
Sit
Yeah.
there. But as they sort of get older, I'll give much more technical advice. And that one of our older ones, who's 14, he did so well. And I was literally just like talking him through things. Put your left arm here, put your right. And he was listening. I could see him listening. And he was making, every time I gave him a cue, he was making those adjustments.
That's
and
wicked.
like, it was like so. And he said afterwards, he was like, I was trying to listen to you and do what you were saying. And like, it was just amazing. He won that match. It was brilliant. And then, everything in between from 5 to 14, like if the younger they are, the more general the advice. But one thing I saw, the best thing you can do as a coach is see people who coach terribly from the sidelines and just don't do that.
Yeah.
This is just a good life lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're trying to be good at something, find someone who's fucking shit and just don't do what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Think of all your managers you ever had or whatever it is, whatever you do as a job or whatever you're trying to be good at, just watch people who are shit.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Seek out the David Brents.
Yeah, literally. And I've seen and heard some really toxic, horrible like coaching of just like someone will be like, I think a good example, he was watching this girl, like, not that it makes a difference that she was a girl, but like she was about 8 or 9 or maybe 10, and he's telling her, get your head up. She's in full guard. Get your head up. You need to get your head up. You need to stand up. You need to get your head up. She's broken your posture. You need to posture up. You need to posture up. And kept saying it. She wasn't doing it. And then, I don't know what to say to you. You need to posture up. Come on. I don't know what to say anymore. And I'm just there like, mate, it's a kids' competition. what are you doing? Like, you're getting angry at a little girl. Her parents would be in the audience.
Yeah.
Like, they're watching you shout angrily at their daughter. I'm like cancelling my direct debit at that point
man.
and being like, we're finding somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
crazy. Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah,
man.
because
if she can't get there, maybe there's a reason that you can't see. Maybe she's just fucking given up.
Yeah.
Right? And then you just go, look, you're doing really well. Just keep going. Look, 30 seconds to go. Just hold on.
We've all been there
You know what I mean?
in a comp where you're like,
fucking hell.
yeah, and that sounds to me like at least some of that is about him and
Big
his
time.
coaching. It's like, this reflects on me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're not doing what I say, so this, you know, and you're not as good as I want you to be in that moment, so therefore that makes me look bad. It's like you have to be as zen as possible, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be blowing in the middle of the fight, right?
Fucking hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we've all been in competition. Like, it's not easy.
No.
I've had people shouting things at me, and I'm thinking, you don't understand. Like, it looks like I can do what you want me to do, but as soon as I move that arm, they're going to do X, whatever it is, get an underhook. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't feel their tension.
Yeah.
As soon as I move, they're exploding out.
Yeah.
So you want me to do that thing, but that is not the right choice.
Yeah.
So just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and also like I've definitely had it before where I'm in a position like I'm caught in a triangle and I'm being shouted at from the sidelines. I can't fucking hear what they're saying because it's like 1 ear's listening, you got in your head.
Yeah.
It's like I can't necessarily always hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but definitely don't do that. Definitely don't like have a go at them for not doing what you say.
Just give them positive feedback. If you've got nothing, if you don't know what to say, just tell them how long they've got left.
Yeah.
And just say, keep going.
Yeah, support is what they need.
That's it.
Yeah,
You know,
especially when they're little.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen like loads of examples, aren't there, online of people just like, there was one recently where like he like does that and like flips the bird to like an 8-year-old girl. And I believe in the lead up to that, she had been mean to his son, who was on the other thing. Maybe he'd like cried or something. She'd done that to him. But like, you're the... Right. Battery ran out. We're back. We don't know how long it's going to last for. Let's try our best.
God, we said some important stuff
We
though.
did,
It's like groundbreaking, never to be
bloody-
repeated stuff. We were just world changing.
Just some gold you missed, but never mind.
Oh well. So
we did coaches being shit.
Yep.
And now we were going to talk about parents coaching being shit.
We all know what that's like.
Yeah, we
coach.
banned parents from coaching at the gym, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because A, they say stuff that's wrong, and B, they'll coach their child, and the other kid, they're young, they don't really understand. They think, oh, why don't they like me, you know, or whatever. And so we just had some problems with it, and we just asked the parents periodically, just please don't coach.
Yeah.
Just let us do our job, and then you can tell your little Jimmy, like whoever he is, later down the line that
Jimmy gets about, doesn't he?
Jimmy is quite the little tyke.
I think there's some gyms in Brazil. The parent starts coaching from the sidelines. They just throw a gi at them. They're like, go on then.
I mean, yeah.
On you get.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that loads of times and been like, I thought about doing like a seminar for parents and being like, getting them out and being like, right, we're going to roll for like a minute.
That's
and
a great
like,
idea.
You know, the more you like having a go at your kids saying like, why aren't you trying? Let's go. And then you can experience what it's like. And then you'll stop moaning at your child about them not trying hard enough.
But I think it can be a real problem if at the gym or especially at competitions, if the parent has a louder voice than the coach, say, then you're going to drown the coach's good advice out with your kind of bullshit advice when you don't train. So it's like you're actually causing more harm than good.
Yeah.
You know, the intention's good.
We're having a mare with the battery. We've cut out twice. I think we're going to have to call it a day. We do have a shit or legit. We've actually got two. One will release just on social media in the middle of the week. But it's a good one this week. Tune in because it might actually work. You have to wait and find out. We recorded it at the gym earlier. So.
Yeah. At Gym 01.
Yes, Gym 01.
Shout out to Gym 01.
That's it, shout out. They were doing the weigh-ins today for Shock and Awe, so lots of skinny people hanging around.
Lots of...
Any questions that you want covering, anything that you want covering to do with being a parent in Jiu-Jitsu, coaching children, getting your kids into Jiu-Jitsu, let us know, send them through to us. Click a button somewhere around here that says like and subscribe to our YouTube, share us with all your friends. We're trying to go viral, we're trying to make millions and millions of dollars doing this podcast. Please share it.
Yep. And also any other shit or legit submissions or moves that you think maybe shit or indeed legit.
Yes, send them in. We've had quite a few in, so we've got a bit of a backlog at the moment, but just keep sending them in and we're going to add them to our chat and we will cover them at some point.
Yep.
I think that's us before the battery runs out again. We'll see you next time with
Cheers,
the full
guys.
Shit or legit, we're back. We got one sent in by Maddie today, an awesome one actually. So we'll dig into it. Let's have a little look.
All right.
It's a good one. I think this one could actually be legit, but we've obviously got to dig into it. I did hit it twice on very new white belts in the gi, so it can be done. We'll dig into it now, no gi, and see if we can get it. It's on your Insta. Insta.
Turn that shit down. Yeah, I mean, the grab is good. He's got that kind of twisted grip on the neck.
Yeah. Pins the arm behind his back.
I feel like
that's a key detail.
Yeah, I feel like that is important. The important part. Because you could shoot that arm out. So maybe more concentration on getting that arm, getting your weight on that arm before you go for the sort of twisted grab on the neck.
Yeah, the people that I hit it on Monday, one of them said it felt like it was like a shoulder lock. So I think pinning that arm's definitely, getting your weight on that arm's definitely important. Let's give it a go.
All right.
Scooch back that way a bit. Yeah. Scooch back that way. That's it. Right, so grab the wrists over the head. It's like that sort of grip break style thing.
Yeah.
Over the head, swim under, lean on the arm, come round. He actually had it around the neck, didn't he? Turn towards. Is it a crank or like a choke? Or
It's like a bit of both. It's more of like a side crank.
Side crank.
It is kind of like pushing on this side of the neck as well.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Keep that arm.
Yeah.
Come through. If I don't get it under the.
That's even better. That's more of a crank.
Yeah.
Getting it on the face is more of a, definitely like cranks it more.
If we're cranking rather than choking, it's always going to be better.
Always better.
Yeah, for your friends especially.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Training try it on me.
Yeah. So same side. Boom. Oh God. So that's on the neck. Yeah. It's pretty rough, isn't it?
That is rough. My shoulder on that side's not great, so that I'm tapping all day to that.
But
For sure.
let me try it again with grabbing on the face. So boom. Keeping hold. Get it on the face.
Oh, fuck off.
That is horrible.
Oh, that was right on like my lip.
Oh, lovely. Mandible. Good on.
I don't know, well, I think the difficulty you're going to have is getting that arm behind the back, but if you can get there, that's legit all day.
But keep hold of the wrist until the last possible moment, definitely. Because if we do it again, so if I do it on you, and then if I don't keep hold of the wrist, so I'm here, boom, I let go to do this, you're just going to shoot it out and reset.
Yeah, I think it's going to be low.
Yeah, whereas if I'm here and I keep hold right here, even if I've just got the shoulders on it, and then I shoot to that, you're already kind of fucked.
Yeah, and I've actually like managed to get my hand in here, so I feel like I could be getting out at that point. But yeah.
I've got that. Yeah, so it's like a double whammy, isn't it?
It's pretty filthy.
It's horrible, yeah.
I like it. I'm going to be trying to get that. I don't think it's going to be something like an armbar, a triangle, a heel hook that you're going to be like, get really good at and be hitting on everyone at every level. But something to like take the piss out of your mates. I love it.
This could be our first legit.
It could be the first legit. I think it is. I think I'm giving it a legit. Nice.